Coming up, a nearly 50 vehicle pileup shut down I-94 near Ashby on this Christmas Day. And 2 people were rescued from Lake Bemidji after their vehicle fell through the ice. Plus, more than 1,000 flights were canceled this holiday weekend. Valley News Live at 10 starts right now.
This is Valley News Live at 10.
Good evening and Merry Christmas. A nearly 50 vehicle pileup shut down I-94 near Ashby, which is about a half-hour south of Fergus Falls. The interstate was closed for more than 2 hours. Numerous cars were destroyed and many injuries are being reported. Valley News Team's Aaron Walling was there and he spoke with some drivers caught up in this horrific crash.
And we saw a semi-truck smash into the semi-truck right next to us. And then at that moment, that's when I decided to just floor it into the median and get as far up the road away from the pileup as I could.
Casey Flipson was one of numerous people involved in a massive pileup near Ashby. Minnesota State Patrol is saying nearly 50 cars were involved in the crash, resulting in numerous injuries.
I went and walked on the road and just looking at all the chaos, and people were checking on each other, just random people hugging each other, and I mean, just everybody was making sure everybody was okay, no matter how bad of a situation you were in.
The road conditions deteriorated starting Saturday morning with a combination of snowfall and wind in the area. Some drivers say they couldn't see what was coming until it was too late.
Just started sliding, and as we got through it, there was a car that was stopped in the middle of the road, and obviously all the other vehicles weren't able to stop, and from our perspective looked like probably 40-50 cars in total.
The Destiny Fitness Center in Grant County was also used as a base of operations for law enforcement and a temporary medical station for those involved in the crash.
There were so many cars that we saw that looked like they were not okay. People getting pulled away in stretchers. It was like a war zone out there.
In Ashby, Aaron Walling, Valley News Live.
Minnesota State Patrol also says roughly 30 additional vehicles slid off the road as a result of this pileup. The crash currently remains under investigation. And 2 people were rescued on Christmas Eve after their vehicle fell through the ice on Lake Bemidji. Bemidji fire officials say they responded to the incident shortly after 5 p.m. yesterday. When they arrived, emergency crews found 1 person on the ice, but the second individual was still unaccounted for. Firefighters jumped into the water and found a man under the ice. He was pulled from the water and crews began CPR. The man was later taken to a local hospital for further treatment. His condition is still unknown at this time. Some snow has already come down in the valley, but more is to be expected. Summer is here now with how much snow we have received so far. Summer.
Thanks so much, Nishay, and thank you everyone for tuning in tonight on this Christmas Day for Valley News Live at 10. Wishing you and your family a very Merry Christmas. Hopefully your day was wonderful, and many people seeing messages that they loved the snow. It was like a snow globe for many of us across the region. I have this on a 12-hour loop here, but as we saw earlier in that package from Aaron, it was an absolute nightmare for others who were on the roads for their Christmas travel plans. Right now, though, things are much quieter. Things have quieted down. Roads are still slick in some spots, but we're even seeing some areas of clear skies. Here's a look at just a few snowfall reports that had come in across the region. Fairmount, 4.5 inches, 4 inches noted in Ashby, Breckenridge, and Morton. Lisbon, 3.8. West Fargo at my house measured 3 inches of snow. Vergas, Valley City, also 3 inches of accumulation. Verndale, 1.5 inches, and latest report from the National Weather Service was 0.7 of an inch. Some of these were when it was still snowing. Now, Nishay, we have more snow headed our way, more widespread, and a lot more accumulation. I'll have hour-by-hour details on how much to expect coming up here in just a few short minutes.
Okay, thank you so much, Summer. Christmas Day got off to a rough start for some residents in West Fargo. Water had to be shut off for some living in the area of 33rd Avenue and 8th Street for a short period of time this morning due to a water main break. City officials later found out the issue was subject to a single building in the area, and water was eventually restored for the other residents. Santa Claus didn't have any travel-related problems this weekend, but that's not the case for millions of others around the world. as thousands of flights remained on land during the Christmas holiday season. John Lawrence reports.
If you're flying this holiday weekend, don't forget to pack your patience.
Make sure that your cell phone is charged so that you are getting those airline alerts in case anything changes. I'd recommend you bring snacks just in case lines are long and you're getting hungry.
More than 5,000 flights were scrapped worldwide this Christmas weekend.
Arrived here at the airport about 8:30 this morning for a 10 o'clock flight. And while standing in the long line for TSA, got a message that my flight was canceled.
Nearly 2,000 of those grounded flights were in the U.S., according to the FlightAware tracking website.
I think everyone's going to end up sleeping who wasn't able to get a rental car. They're all sleeping at the airport tonight.
Some of the cancellations were caused by the threat of rough weather, especially in the Pacific Northwest. Also causing travel headaches, airline crew and staff calling out sick due to the Omicron surge.
The plan was to be there for Christmas Eve with the folks and dinner and all those kind of things. It happens though. It's not something that's in everyone's control.
Despite the setbacks and delays, some people were able to make it to their destination.
For me to be able to be here to share that with them, it's the best Christmas gift that I could get to.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
And here locally, dozens of flights in and out of the Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport were canceled today as airlines also struggle with staffing shortages due to COVID-19. At MSP, more than 60 flights were canceled by midday. And on Christmas Eve, Delta had canceled nearly 15 of their flights. At last check, the flights coming and going at Hector International have been running on time. Some were showing early arrivals, but flight plans can change quickly, so check with your airline for the latest updates throughout the weekend. Today marks the one-year anniversary of the Christmas Day bombing in downtown Nashville. On this date last year, a man parked his RV along a downtown street. A message played from a loudspeaker warning people of an explosion. Officers rushed door to door to evacuate, and shortly after, the bomb exploded, causing extensive damage to buildings in the area, injuring several people and killing the bomber, Anthony Warner. 1 year later, residents and business owners say they are still working to rebuild in the area. President Joe Biden marked his first Christmas in office with a call to service members stationed around the world. Joined by First Lady Jill Biden, the president virtually spoke to troops, offering them holiday wishes and gratitude for their sacrifice.
So as your commander-in-chief, I wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you, thank you, thank you. It's a poor substitute for what you're missing, but I understand. I just want you to know how much we care. We're grateful for your courage, your sacrifice.
Pope Francis delivered his Christmas message today in Vatican City. Thousands gathered in St. Peter's Square for his annual To the City and World Christmas address. Pope Francis prayed for an end to the coronavirus pandemic, urging health care for all and vaccines for the poor. He specifically prayed for those most affected by the virus, such as women and children who have suffered increased abuse during lockdowns, the elderly who are alone, and for health care workers who devote themselves to caring for the sick. He also prayed for more conversations in hopes of resolving conflicts around the world. Later on Valley News Live at 10, singing and bell ringing spreads the spirit of Christmas at one Bismarck school.
And this was a familiar sight across the region on this Christmas Day, especially the southern half of the valley. But it wasn't all bad here. The Grinch gives back. Maybe he does have a heart after all, helping to clear some snow. And hopefully we have a lot more Grinches and people helping to clear snow the next couple of days. Look how much to expect coming up.